Hello and welcome to episode 194 of Masters of the Forge. I'm Adam and with me is Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Adam. Hello, everyone. We're back.
We are back.
Yeah.
So yes, there will be only obviously one episode this month. We have a lot going on.
Yeah. Yes. It's good to have things going on because very soon school will start and for me and the snow will begin for you. Yay.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games until you walk outside and think, I've got to put on pants, and I don't like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to... I won't admit to going to get my mail with just a shirt on, but... Some of these shirts from my fattest times are very big on me now.
Well,
and they might count as dresses.
Well, as long as it's got, some cute shoes to go with it, you should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can get. I mean, do you want to give our excuses? My excuse is my car exploded.
Yeah. Yeah. That's ugh.
Not just exploded. Like I had to. I replaced the engine and the clutch.
Oh man!
And the exhaust is totally shot. I can go without that, but the exhaust is totally shot on a car with only 80,000 miles on it. It's or 75,000 miles. It is. I have never had a car. I've been driving manual my entire life, and I'm old. I've never had a car do this, and I don't know whether to blame Subaru or to blame the dealership I bought it from, or if I should blame the previous owner, or if I should blame myself. I don't know. Probably a mixture of all of those. The first chance I get, once I have like a 3-year warranty on the engine, the engine they put in.
Yeah.
Once that's done, I'm getting a Toyota again because I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
just terrible. Anyways, and yeah, you've been busy like crazy, right? Like with all your stuff you have going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a combination of school and moving out of that apartment.
Right.
Yeah, man. Turning in those keys was, man. Dropping those keys off is like freedom.
Yeah, it probably felt really good. Yeah. So yeah, that in summer and all that stuff. It's just been mea culpa. It's fine, I think.
Yep.
So why don't we move on and talk about? I mean, we've obviously gotten some hobby progress done as well.
Oh, yes.
So why don't we start with you, Jason? What have you been working on?
Okay. So before we start, real quick, can you turn your gain down a little bit on your mic?
Oh, is that going to mess you up? Do you want to start again?
No. It's okay. All right, try it out.
Sibilance.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. No, I'll just run it through a compressor. It'll be okay.
All right.
Okay, so let me. Okay, so yeah, hobby progress. What have I done? Like I said, I've moved. Hold on, let me move my phone. My phone's right by my interface.
Which means I definitely heard that notification that came through.
I don't know what that. Wait, hold on. Does that have notification? Is it from you? That's probably funnier. No, okay. That means it's an email. I'm not looking at those for a while.
Well, it wasn't a ding. What it was the sound of it receiving the signal came through the audio. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about this interface. But I've got another interface that I'm moving to.
Okay.
Probably in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I moved everything out of my old place into the new one. Everything's in boxes, which is kind of annoying. We are recording the video so we can sit here and do that. And I'm sure Adam is amazed by the throne of boxes that I have around my chair.
Oh yeah, the cardboard throne.
That's right, man. It's rad. But I did get some hobbying done because otherwise I probably would have hurt someone. So I built a Storm Eagle for the Aeronautica Imperialis game. Such a cute little model.
Okay.
They're so cute. Like, just building, I'm like, I want to, like, you know, build and paint a list, but I have no idea what the army is. So, you know, I just don't know anything about the game. So, but it's built. I'll probably.
When has that stopped us in the past?
Never. Literally never. It hasn't even like slowed us down.
No.
So, yeah. I worked on the base for Definitely Not Fate Weaver print that I got from Etsy a while back. Just, you know, did a little bit of work on it with the airbrush, did a little bit of paintbrush work on it. It needs some more work. It's one of those, I look at it and it's just such a weird model and I'm not sure what I need to do next. So I probably will go through and take some pictures and upload it to Little Legend Discord to see what Miles has to say. Did a little bit of work on the Mauler Fiend. Like I was painting the trim and then I realized that thing has a ton of trim and painting it with an airbrush is not probably the wisest idea, even though I've got that YOLO mentality with airbrushes. So, yeah, I stopped myself. My airbrush is set up. I think I know where most of my paints are, so I probably will start painting again in about, like, seriously painting the next week or two, hopefully.
Right.
But hobbying will remain slow this month just because I'm still getting stuff sorted. So
all work and no play make motive a dull boy. So
you've got that right. That's right. Or it leads me to, you know, start rebelling and doing crazy things, which I don't need to be doing. What about you, Adam? What you got? I see all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, there's some fun things. So I think I might have mentioned before in the last episode that the Armies on Parade for this month snuck up on me.
Oh.
It was Wizards and War Machines, and I had nothing painted for it.
Okay.
So I did a wizard made from... I thought I wrote down what it was, but it was the exclusive Vampire Counts Necromancer Vampire Count person.
Oh,
she's holding the baby dragon.
Yeah.
So I took that model, and the only conversion I did was I added so the actual Collegiate Wizards kit has a hand holding a flaming skull. So I put the hand holding the flaming skull on her shoulders as her head. And so I painted like she's basically like got a flaming skull head when she casts her spells.
Nice.
And she has a little baby dragon, and it's really just a great model. So I submitted that to the contest, and the next step is fortifications.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't know. That big box of vampire counts, like undead boneyard terrain, is up there looking at me like, ha ha.
Is that the old
Garden of Moor?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that, and what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to do it so I can actually take it off the display board and use it as terrain.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm also gonna pick up some Games Workshop woods. The new ones are really neat because they're not on big platters anymore. They're like little crescent, the part where they sit on the ground, the base is a little crescent shape.
Yeah.
So each of the three trees is on a crescent shape, and then you put them together to make a circle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is
I'm
going to get one or two kits of those trees, paint them in the autumn colors, and put them on the display board, and then I'll take them off and use them for games.
Yeah.
So October, I believe, is the due date for that one.
Okay.
So I might take the risk and paint the terrain.
Okay.
And not do the display board yet.
Yeah, that works. That could
And
be
it might be a risk, but you know what? It might be better because when I do the display board, I'll have the finished pieces there and I'll be able to arrange them better instead of planning everything based on the display board. I'll plan the display board based on what I have, which might be a better tack anyways, I think. I ordered more leaves for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna name it. I'm kind of basing the appearance off of Oakwood Cemetery in Troy, New York. It's got a it's like built on the side of the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
So it's stepped. So
okay.
There's a lot of stairs, like stone stairs, and a lot of the mausoleums are built into the sides of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll probably be. I'm gonna probably have to make some stairs and put them into the side of the hills and have everything kind of in levels. That way, when you look at the models, it won't be one dimensional.
Yeah, it's
just usually when you add height, it starts eating up some of your real estate because the slope. It's really hard to put models on the slope, so you gotta get creative with it. Maybe use a little bit of forced perspective, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I need more gravestones, but hopefully I can eBay those. I'm gonna try to keep it GW only for the armies on parade.
Okay.
So I built and painted the Free Guild Outriders. It's 5 models on horses.
Mm-hmm.
The gray horse color worked really well. I'm really happy with how that turned out because it contrasts nicely with their black armor and the red cloaks and the blue and the blue spot colors of like the ribbons and everything, and their hair. I actually painted the hair on the horses the blue color.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing all the facial hair and all the hair that blue color lately, and I think I really do have to go back to the first 20 or so models and make sure they've got the same thing going on because it looks really good. I really like how that looks. Like they just color their hair, which is fine.
Consistency is a nice thing.
Yeah, it's good to be consistent.
Yeah. Well,
so that'll be.
I don't do it, but you know what? It's a good idea for other people.
Yeah, so that'll be a nice like evening project. I think just going through and repainting hair. So that's done. Next, I built 3 Demigrif Knights.
Mm-hmm.
I already have 3, but I really like how they play. They're a lot of fun. They're fast, and they engage with the enemy, which not a lot of stuff in the Cities of Sigmar does. And this will help me have it like just a bunch of infantry and like 2 war machines doesn't really look good on a display board. Adding some cavalry actually really makes the army look nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So 3 more Demigrif Knights will also help me in the game because it'll tie up strong units without them. And they're resilient enough where they won't die like right away. They'll tie up units for long enough that I can kind of soften the enemy up and continue to score while I hold up some of their stronger units. So what I did with these, instead of using the actual Demigrif kit, I bought the Stormcast Griff Charger kit. Those Demigrifs are running in they're in very active poses, which I really like. The only problem is then I have to find rider parts that are not Stormcast for them. I used rider parts from the General on Griffin because that comes with 3 or 4 riders, and the actual General on Griffin, my General on Griffin, used the Nefertata rider. So I had all 3 available to use. And I used Hexwraith parts, Blood Knight parts, some of the Empire Knight parts, and green stuff to make these models. And I am not gonna lie, I am super happy with how they turned out. It was a lot of effort to get them assembled nicely, and I'm looking for it. I really want to get these painted before I start dinking around with terrain. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint. I'm gonna go ahead, mainly because these are really fun to use, and they're definitely gonna go in my list for when we go to mini wargaming, and I want to get practice with them.
Definitely, yeah. When do y'all go to mini wargaming again?
Mid-November, or early to mid-November. I think the second week.
Yeah. Okay.
Then, and I'm driving, so it's good that my car's engine exploded now instead of during that trip.
Yeah, that would be
right.
Yeah,
isn't that nice? That's nice.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my hobby progress for now. I have some other hobby progress that snuck up on me. But we'll talk about that next episode.
Okay. Definitely.
Jason, have you been messing around with any games played or anything?
No, I just had to lend back. I had to lend out I have a laptop that I played Steam through, and I had to lend it out, but I should get it back in a couple of weeks because, I want to get our game going that we're going to be talking about. Our Crusade list we'll talk about later. And I actually want to learn how to do Titanicus because,
Yeah, we need to get to... We keep saying this past 2 or 3 months that we need to get together and play some Titanicus. And it just needs to happen. It's so easy to do on Tabletop Simulator. I don't know why I'm dragging my butt. Probably because
I've been busy. I've
been busy too. I've been having such a hard time. I'm usually a long time ago before BQ, before Quinn. I was the one who made sure I made plans with people.
Yeah.
And now all the people who were used to me annoying them trying to do stuff. I'm nowhere to be found, and I am relying on other people to make plans, and that's just other people are just awful at making plans. So that's it. I'm not doing a damn thing. So
my work schedule, I've got it for this next year or this next semester, and it's a lot friendlier in that I'm not creating. Let's see. Last semester, I was creating 2 new classes as I was teaching them. The semester before that, I had one that it was new. And normally they give you time extra when you're creating new classes, but not me. No, it's Go ahead, plebe. You need to pay your dues.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So I actually did have some games played. I went to GenCon. I didn't meet up with anybody except for Dave, which it's great to meet up with Dave, but I really feel bad that I never got a chance. Again, we had Quinn and it was definitely a family visit.
Yeah.
So maybe next time. I do plan on going to Adepticon again.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can meet up with people there.
What blew my mind was while you were at GenCon, there were all these other people I knew on Discord, but then and also through my my gaming Facebook page, But then I went to my regular not gaming, no one knows anything about this. And I had a whole bunch of friends that were Gen Con that are like musicians and whatnot, to the point where just like I kept looking in their pictures to see if I saw you or anybody else I knew. You know, and vice versa. So that was if I had gone, it would have been weird. Well, it would have been weird. It would have just been funny. So
yeah. You would have probably like, oh, hey, guy. At one point, I saw Ralph, and I was hanging out with my pregnant cousin, and I saw Ralph, and I put my hand on Ralph's tummy as I walked past him, and my cousin's like, "What are you doing? You're doing to that guy what I hate people doing to me." Ralph was a little surprised too, but then he was like, "Oh, it's Adam." So the games I played the first thing we did was we played like a spaceship simulator game that's like a video game one.
Okay.
Which was a lot of fun. That one was actually in Lucas Oil Stadium. Like games have spilled into the Colts football stadium.
Nice.
It's insanity how much. Then we did a play test, of a game called Starship Captains, which is super cool. I can't wait for that to come out because I am buying the crap out of that game.
Yeah,
it's unreal. Quinn was very excited to see that the monster truck Bigfoot was there, and there's a Bigfoot game. And in order to get a toy Bigfoot for free, you had to buy into the game. So Wendy clearly had to buy into the Bigfoot game.
Yeah.
Which is fine because he won't play it now, but he'll play it in a few years and he'll love it.
Yeah.
Apparently the Bigfoot game is you set up your Bigfoot's like feature run with like, it's kind of like a programming game. Like I'm going to put a jump here. I'm going to put a, a burnout pad here. Like you set up your monster truck's run, and then you actually take a toy, like a plastic monster truck miniature, and you go through the run that you've put out and roll dice to do it. Like sounds
fun.
It looks really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We did glitter roulette. Where the person sits in the chair blindfolded while the other people secretly pick what glitter tattoo to put on the person. They were pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Aaron's was appropriate. It was epic, but
a heart and a kissy face and a black rooster. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
And I'm not sure why I have two bucks like in a inverted facing each other position with rainbow colors. Not sure what that's supposed to mean, but it was a pretty tattoo. It's gone now. It took a while. Then we played a game called Arc Nova, which I guess is really popular. It's a very crunchy game. It's a very European style game, which I enjoyed. I'm not sure I'm gonna buy it, but it's basically all about setting up a zoo. I am all for a game. Did we tell you people that this was going to be a really long episode because we haven't gotten together in
a while?
Yeah. Instead of doing 2 episodes, you guys are just getting a monster truck episode.
It's the way it should be.
As you do. I played what
game? There was a cat game that you told me about. And
yes, I'm going to go over the games that I also saw but did not play.
Okay.
I played Orleans, which I had apparently is really popular, but I'd never played before. Okay. And I was trying it out. So they were doing demos of it, which you sign up for.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousin and I played it, got into it, while two other guys got into it too, but they were like seasoned Orleans players, so it wasn't really that fun.
Oh, okay.
Playing against them. But the game looks awesome, and I'm going to buy the game. So I guess mission accomplished. But I was just really annoyed that those guys signed up for a demo when they were super experienced with the game. Like, what did you do? You signed up so that you could like crush us? Like, what's that about?
Yeah. This is a board game?
Yeah, it's called Orleans. Yeah, it's really cool. It's about trade and setting up society.
I'm looking at
it's pretty cool.
The Board Game Geek listing for it.
It's good.
Yeah, it's been around for a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's an older game, but I've just never played it. So one of the games we saw was Expand City, which is a board game where you stack buildings and you build a city. I thought that was really cool. Then there's Castle Panic. You know the old Defend Your Castle like Flash game from like the early 2000s?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, and I think they've added, there have been more and more of those as time has gone on to where they've gotten a lot more complex.
Yeah.
I think they have them with like zombies and stuff now. Anyways, this is a board game, Defend Your Castle.
Yeah.
So you have the castle in the center of the board, and certain units fight in the castle. And then out from that, you have swordsmen who fight in the next row or the next circle. Out of that, you have knights. Out of that, you have archers. And out of that is the forest. And like all the monsters spawn in the forest and they move forward. They get closer and closer to the castle. And you have to deploy your units out of the castle to destroy them before they destroy your castle.
Ooh, I could see a 40K version being released.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That would be a really good one. You play as Imperial Fists trying to defend your castle. Dude, this game makes itself.
Yeah, it's the Siege of Terra, kids.
Dude, that sounds like fun. But then what caught my eye is they have a My First Castle Panic for kids.
Oh.
There's a game called Here Kitty Kitty, which is a giant pile of kitties. You play as a crazy cat It's a crazy cat collecting game, and whichever crazy cat person can collect the most kitties wins.
Yeah, I picked that up. I haven't played it yet, but I've got it. Well,
it comes with like 40 kitty cats, so tiny little kitty cat miniatures, so you can use those in your Warhammer armies. They had life-size robot rally that used remote control robots, which is just freaking delightful. What else? Magical Kitties Save the Day, which is a role-playing game about kitty cats. You play as a kitty cat. Pretty sweet. There's now a Great British Baking Show board game.
Is there a part there where you can make inappropriate comments like Mary, whatever her name is?
Oh, right. Yeah. We played Sleeping Gods, which is a board game about it's a storytelling board game, so there's an extended campaign for the board game. It's made by the same people who did Near and Far, I think. Red Raven Games. Near and Far is also a storytelling board game that continues over time. It seemed like fun. You play as a shipwrecked people shipwrecked, and you find they're not like actually. It's kind of like King Kong, right? Where none of this it starts in a normal world, but kind of like a pulp style where anything that isn't the eastern seaboard of the United States or the English islands is a weird fantasy realm, right? Like just because it's out in the unknown. so that they, kind of a weird thing. But anyways, I digress. We had a lovely time, and we'll be back, but not anytime soon. It's definitely Gen Con is like a once every 3 years thing, not a once a year thing. It'd just be too much for me personally.
Yeah.
And I think Quinn will appreciate it a lot more in a couple of years.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah. I mean, one of the friends that went with me, or that went to Gen Con, I think he's down at he's down at Bloomington, just south of Indianapolis. So I'm sure he'll be there every year.
Yeah, Erin used to live there. She used to live in Bloomington. She was a Bloomington person before she had to move away for work. I hear Bloomington is like the not painful region to live in Indiana.
I have heard the same.
Yeah.
But,
Anyways, I also had a couple of other games. I played Age of Sigmar with Tucker. I played my Cities of Nagash versus his Stormcast Eternals. That was a good game. I also played a game against Kendrick's Stormcast Eternals. Not his Stormcast Eternals, Kendrick's Slaves to Darkness, which are like the human chaos, the mortal chaos people.
Right.
The game against Kendrick's Slaves to Darkness was really annoying because I couldn't kill them. Like they're so tough.
Yeah.
They're so tough. Like I don't have the offensive capabilities to deal with his army. So, and it's not like the Stormcast Eternals are tough too, but at least they have low model count. Right. Slave to Darkness can have tough models, but they can also have a bunch of mooks that can just hold objectives or whatever. Yeah. And just even the mooks can be tough.
Was it jam your chain swords with their entrails?
Well, and they're like, as long as they're near a character, they're fearless, which in Age of Sigmar is a really big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm part of the reason I'm now even more I really can't wait to get these knights done so that I can start tying up units with that. Anyways, I also had a game of Warhammer 40,000 with John.
Yay!
John played his Grey Knights and I played my Orcs. I kind of played a variation of my Weird Boy Gretchen list. Mm-hmm. It's 1,000 points. Like there's a 1,000-point tournament coming up at Zombie Planet, and there's a team tournament coming up at Northern Wardens. So 1,000. We've been playing 1,000 points, and it went okay. He also has 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds.
Oh,
so because Grey Knights, and it's just I keep getting outclassed in the damage early on, and it's just armies just have so many shots, and orcs can't take that.
Right.
I can't take a bunch of shots from strike squads and dread knights. I definitely can't take shots from Imperial Knight lists or Chaos Knight lists. There's just the Armigers, the Helvarans. Like, the Chaos ones have like a rotary cannon that just so many shots, and my army just falls apart to it. I'm not sure what to do as far as orcs are concerned.
Which list were you running?
It was 3 units of Gretchen, 2 10 model units of Commandos, a War Boss, 2 Weird Boys, 2 trucks, and 2 3 model units of Meganobs. Okay,
so some of the older, I guess, units, not like all that stuff that was released recently that we played.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just got a little tired of playing the same list.
Oh yeah.
Which, that list is pretty cool. I love all that cavalry, all the squig cavalry. It's so fun. And honestly, I'm still more used to playing that. And you bring it up. Maybe it would be better to try bringing that list at 1,000 points. It might
See
be a
what it
little bit.
does.
Yeah, the toughness 6 and the 6-up invuln save, and actually, honestly, the better armor and the speed. All of that points to probably a better experience. We'll see. We'll see. It is a fun list to play too, because it's super fast and gets up in your face. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no narrative games this month. We didn't get a chance to play our game again because we were very, very busy.
Yeah.
But we will hopefully get one in for next month. It won't be the first episode of the month, but it'll be the second episode of the month if we get one in.
Yep.
All right. So after that, 36 minutes. Let's go beyond the fringe. Jason, what are you looking at?
What have you been doing? 2 things here. I assembled a treadmill last night. Almost died. Well, I mean, I didn't almost really die. The instructions included, have a second person helping you, and I had my mom helping me with the first part, and then she left to go home because it was getting late. And so I got to the last page and just like, hey, you need to have someone to actually hold the bed of this thing upright. And I thought, even if she was here, she's not strong enough to hold that thing.
Oh my God.
And so I'm just kind of standing there like, now what do I do? And I was kind of thinking, well, maybe I could just brace it with my shoulder and I could do this. And then I started thinking about just how many male relatives that have died while doing something stupid. And when I got to 5 and I really had not gotten past my, grandparents and their brothers, I was like, yeah, I need to think about this. And so I found a couch to prop up against it, to prop the thing against, so I didn't have it drop on me. But and I'm sitting there thinking, don't do something dumb. This isn't the way we're supposed to go out. So anyway, it did get finished though. I didn't die. Yay! So that's the first thing. The second thing, if you like beer, try out 8th Wonder Rocket Fuel, which is out of Houston. It's a Vietnamese coffee porter. It is incredible. It's smooth. It's really great. And it has caffeine in it. Yeah, because it's coffee. And
yeah, that'll be fine. They didn't take Four Loko off the shelves because it was bad for you. They just
Well, I didn't realize that it had caffeine at 9:30 at night. And for our listeners, just so you know, I kind of stopped drinking caffeine back in February. Like I have it every once in a while, but I try not to. And caffeine now affects me. And I didn't sleep much last night because, well, I had to rearrange part of my house while I was watching a Little Legend Patreon video on how to kit bash some interesting minis. And I was also researching 30K Thousand Suns units and contemplating how to build kit bash and convert a really sweet jump pack command squad all at the same time. That's about when I realized, oh, that had caffeine in it. So, that's... So, yeah, 8th Wonder Rocket Fuel. I highly recommend it.
All right, and excellent.
Tell us about yours, because yours looks fun.
Yeah, we Sonny and I hiked 3 high peaks this past weekend. Gothix, Armstrong, and Upper Wolfjaws. They're all in a range. Now, this range...
I love that picture of Sonny on the blog page.
Yeah, this range was steep.
Yeah.
Like, it was really steep. There aren't a whole lot. I mean, you can mountain climb in the Adirondacks, but for the most part, you don't have to get to the top of these mountains. It's not like the Rockies where you're like, you have to like have climbing gear. like legit
Yeah.
climbing gear. You can hike all of these peaks depending on conditions. Well, coming up the side of Gothix, it's very, let's just say it's a bare rock face, or it's a series of bare rock faces that are about 45 degrees. And in dry conditions, they're fine.
Yeah.
But it was very early in the morning and it was like in a cloud while I was climbing it. So all of the rock faces were slippery.
Yeah.
In this particular mountain, because of that, they actually have, it's one of the few, if it might even be the only mountain, I don't know for a fact, but I think it might be the only one that actually has cables bolted into the rock face to let you like kind of shimmy up like Batman climbing a building.
Yeah.
You know? But you get up there and you're doing the shimmy and it's fine, right? Like the cables that they put in are perfect. You just hand over hand go up. And Sonny's a dog. He's got padded feet and claws. He can go up pretty fine. But then you get to a spot where the rock face is there, but they didn't put a cable in. Instead, there's a crack going down the middle of the rock face that you're apparently supposed to use to climb up.
Yeah.
Like, how? Again, if it were drier conditions, I probably could have, but I couldn't, and I didn't bring my spikes. I didn't bring my foot spikes because it's the middle of summer.
Yeah.
So I did a naughty. I had to touch endangered species in order to climb up. Because I wasn't climbing down. There's no way I was sliding down on my butt like hundreds and hundreds of feet. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have to worry about Sunny too.
Well, yeah, and Sunny too. And so, like, you're really not supposed to even go near, you're not supposed to touch these plants. Like,
right.
You're just not supposed to. But I had no choice. Well, I had a choice. My choice was either slide down the mountain on my butt and hope I don't die, or climb the climb the last 100 feet by touching plants. So I touched plants.
Yeah.
I will probably bring my spikes from now on, even if it's the summer.
Right.
And so the original plan was to go to this other mountain, but to go to this other mountain and back would be 15 miles, and I would have to go back down that that series of bare rock faces. I didn't feel like doing that, so instead I hung a left and I hiked 2 more mountains along the range and went down the third mountain back to the car. So they're about 13 miles. It was enough. I think I'll try to do the other mountain again at some point. I'll try to tackle that rock face again, but I'll bring the appropriate gear, and I might buy some grippy gloves,
right,
to work the crack, as it were. And
okay.
And I might actually stay overnight to do that. So it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
But it was a good day. I felt like I kind of proved, that it was a tough, way steeper. All 3 of those mountains were way steeper than any of the other mountains we've done this summer.
Yeah.
Pretty steep, but good time. Burned a lot of calories. So, Jason, let us talk about the Astropathic communique. Which release did you pick to talk about?
So we got the new Chaos Demon book, which I was like, really, that's like a really great. I think it just went for pre-order. But also the new Curseling model in the Arcane Cataclysm AOS set that was just released. It was previewed like a month or two ago. But I hope it could be kit bashed as some sort of sorcerer or, aspiring sorcerer, sergeant or something.
Just get 2 boxes so that you can make mistakes.
No. Details.
Aren't there a bunch of like really cool models in that box? Like
well, there's some Zangors.
Zangor? There's a bunch of Zangor. You need more of those. You should get 2 boxes.
Yeah, but there's only 10. The rest
so you need a lot more boxes.
Yeah, it's the Acolytes, and there's something else in there. There's the Exalted.
Right. And then there's elves in there too, right? It's like versus...
Yeah, I don't want that.
Elves.
But yeah, it's got this really cool tail, spine, feathers thing going over the shoulder, which could cause kit bash issues, but, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'll see if I can get that character at some point.
Right.
What about you? What you got?
I am definitely most excited about the new Space Hulk Kill Team box that's coming out. I am starting to believe we're not going to be getting one, but that's okay. I should probably pay for some stuff.
You never know.
This box...
We get all sorts of stuff, yeah.
This has everything I want. And it has a Kroot team it has Kroot, and it has the...
Ecludian Dark... Or Star Spiders, yeah.
Well, it has... They're like... Kind of like... They're... Imperial Navy breachers.
Yeah.
I am super excited about these. I did talk about them briefly last time, but they've released way better pictures now.
Yeah.
And I am buying some, and that is going to be so much fun to add to my Rogue Trader force. And then we've got the squats coming soon, and it's all over but the crying. Even if, honestly, this army is not going to have any keywords in common, it's going to be awful. Like, it's going to be, not only is it going to be not like, like specific Imperium faction, like it's going to just not even have, it's going to have stuff that's not even Imperium. It's going to be fully super illegal in match play setting, but we don't care about that sort of thing around these parts. We super duper give 0 Fs about any of that. So hopefully I'll be able to find...
So cool.
Oh my gosh.
They are so cool. The Kroot
They have so many options.
Yeah.
Like, they have so many different things going on. And I pulled out the Kroot from Blackstone Fortress. I'm going to add that as a character to it, and I'm going to get a shaper just to make sure everybody has like their own. The only thing I'm not sure what to do about is I definitely still want to have some Blood Axe orcs in there, but I want them to feel big. Right? Even though they're just like commandos or whatever, I want them to feel much bigger than all the human infantry models. So I might, like I said, try to work in some different models for those to make them feel really big, and definitely won't run them as orcs. I might run them as Ogren or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is mine.
I put in a Discord comment.
Yes?
Our server is currently being overrun by members of the Alpha Legion posing as me, but with odd spellings of Jason. And when I say odd spellings, it's odd enough that it actually kind of makes my right eye twitch. And also odd spellings of MOTF.
That's adorable.
It's funny. Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. I really do. I want everybody to know that I super appreciate that. It brings me joy. I'm sure it brings Jason joy. Even if it doesn't, you can pretend that it does. I really appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, there's one spelling of Jason that was, man, it was painful. It was just.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was Mike or Eric that was doing it, or it could have been both. But yeah, whew. Okay, all right, yeah.
Jason, there's one spelling that they have not. They have. Boy, it sure makes it hard to at you in here. There we go. Have a look at that one. That's a good one.
Was that the G?
Well, I mean, sure. GIF.
Oh, man.
Right? So just like GIF. Jason. Yeah, good stuff.
Man.
Via con Dios. Via con Dios.
That hurts.
Did that break you? Good. Well, while Jason's preparing his brain, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna, again, these aren't really supposed to be Codex reviews, but we do need to understand kind of the generic rules of the Demons, just to understand how the Crusade part of it works. So we're gonna do that in the next segment. So stick right with us. We'll be right back.
Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Well, don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Se til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det ikke bikkje, det en slags ting. Den imiterer bikkje, men det ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said.
And welcome back. All right, so we're going to do just kind of a general rules, quick roundup overview, blah, 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 blah. Because we're not going to go completely in depth in this. There's really no reason. There are other podcasts that will do way more in depth, and we'll probably do it in a much better way in regards to competitive play. So the first thing I noticed whenever I got the book was just how the book is actually constructed and organized. In that this one's different than previous codexes, probably in the best way. Like each god and god-specific unit have their own section that's separate from the others. So you don't have to go through and look at all the HQs, all the elites, all the troops. It's just Khorne, you look at all their units, Tzeentch, all those units, etc. And in previous editions, before it was all just kind of jumbled together, which made things a little difficult, and it was really only denoted by color, if I remember correctly, which is cool unless you're colorblind or color deficient, I guess. Anyways, so the new arrangement makes it a bit easier to digest and find specific units. Units that are available to all armies, such as Be'lakor, Demon Princes, and Soul Grinders, are located in a section behind the god-specific sections, which is pretty cool. Although, as I'm thinking about it now, there's a unit marking for a Tzeentch Demon Prince in the Thousand Suns book, but then there's a Demon Prince in this book, but, I had to go through and look to see if they're the numbers or anything are the same. So yeah, there's so a couple of things.
There's always a lot of cleanup.
Yeah,
that they have to do when a Demons book is released.
Yeah,
because there's so much overlap with the different Chaos books that sometimes there needs to be some kind of FAQ or explanation of how it all works.
So I probably need to go through. I mean, I'm sure that'll be released real quick.
Yeah, I guess I heard someone talk on one of the other servers about how some of the older Chaos books don't mention agents of chaos and how it works and whatever.
Right. Oh, yeah.
For all of you out there, just assume if there's something abusive that it's going to be destroyed soon. Don't worry about it.
So there's a couple of things in the book. Like, we're not going to go through all the rules, but there are two things that, I was kind of being asked about, or not asked about, but people were mentioning. So first up, there's a demonic pact keyword that allows player to take demon allies without breaking army rules. So you can now take up to 25% of your list can be like for Thousand Suns, like Tzeentch. As long as 75% is the Thousand Suns keyword, you still keep well, it's not Thousand Suns keyword, it's the Arcane Astartes keyword.
Right.
But,
right. You keep all your Tzeentch, or you keep all your Thousand Suns cool stuff.
And the same thing with Emperor's Children and, World Eaters, etc. And that's pretty nice. That's actually really neat.
I think you lose your demonic warp storm stuff, but that's fine.
Because if it's 25%, that means you've got units for flavor.
You're splashing some stuff in.
One thing that I was asked about fairly quickly, like I haven't told anybody I had the book, but they just assumed that I had it. Yeah. And so they want to know what this whole 2 save thing means, the demonic invul. So each unit has 2 saves noted. The first is a save against melee, and the second for ranged attack. And this is a direct quote. This saving throw cannot be modified in any way. So I'm assuming that means that even if you have something that ignores invul save, they still have it.
And you can't use a spell to increase it or decrease it.
Right. Well, unless
there is stuff that does remove an invul save.
Yeah, but this isn't an invul; it's a demonic invul.
So do you? Just for an example, do you have the book there? Can you give us an example of one? Like, I'd love to hear. Let's do the Slaanesh troops.
Okay, Slaanesh troops. Okay, let me go find Slaanesh.
They are.
Those are the demonettes.
Demonettes, yeah. What's the demonettes?
All right, demonettes. They are 5 up, 4 up. So 5 up for melee and 4 up for range.
4 up for range. That's really good. So what about Tzeentch? What about the horrors? You were already on that page. I'm sorry.
No. The nice thing about this is this book is really easy to work with. Like, really easy. So let's talk about pink horrors first, because that's the quote-unquote top horror. They're a 6 up, 3 up. So melee, they are kind of garbage. Or they're what they were before, but... there are 3 up on the in ranged
shooting. That's really cool.
And then the blue horror is 4 up in ranged.
Oh,
because it splits to the blues, and then it splits to brimstone, which is a 5 up.
Did we mention that Games Workshop basically used our house rule to do horrors?
We have not said that yet. I do find it very amusing. Because not only, they're using all of the rules that we came up with.
No, I'm not going to say
it.
I'm not going to say that. Like, what I'll say is this: what I believe happened, that there's such a thing as parallel evolution, right? If something is the path of least resistance, that's the.
Is that why we have Blackstone Fortress 2?
Yeah. Two groups of people will come to the same conclusion if it is the right answer.
Yes, sure.
Or they're looking over our shoulders. Either way, that's fine.
That's fine by me. It's just it's funny because I think you pointed it out before I found it in the book, and I read it just like, yep, that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did.
And you don't need reinforcement points, right? You just roll a 4+ and they split.
Yeah. They have gone through and boosted the power level on horrors, though, from a 4 to a 7, which,
okay.
Actually with demons, though, who cares? Because,
Yeah.
6 troops is 42 points. Who cares? Oh, and the iridescent horror is now standard.
You just get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing. I'm wondering if the bloodletters actually have a better save in combat than they do in shooting.
No.
No?
Wait. Yeah. They have a 5 up, 4 up.
5 up, 4 up?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's really just like they're saying, okay, we want demons to survive before they get into combat. Because before you just throw bullets at them and they disappear.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I like it. I think it's a good, I think it's a good idea. And the thing is that, yes, their evolution of whether a horror divides or not is extremely similar to ours. Spider-Man looking at Spider-Man. That I think having them as a 7 power level is actually not a bad thing. Because you and I saw what could happen with those if you have a lucky hot streak.
Oh yeah. It can get pretty crazy. Yeah. Even with that house rule, it was like, wow, this is still really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think let's play it and we'll see. I mean, we're obviously going to play it because you're going to have a bunch of demons in your list, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So okay,
yes, I will.
Let's have a look at the big change, and it's the warp storm effects, and I love this. This is a really cool special ability that a pure demon army gets. So it only works if your whole army is demons or agents of chaos. So I guess you could have there's a few agents of chaos out there now.
Yeah.
So at the start of the battle, you roll 8d6, and for each 4 up, you gain 1 warp storm point. Any that you don't use are discarded before rolling again. So you'll normally, but there are some abilities that help you gain more warp storm points and some that help you retain them into the next round. And some of our choices later, when we do our picks later, do describe some of those abilities. Some of the effects are oh, sorry, go ahead.
One thing I was thinking about it. I think that Korn should have 8 dice and Nurgle 7 and Zinch 9.
That's fair. Fair to say.
And they could adjust the other things, but just it would feel more. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah.
But at least it's the 8-pointed Star of Chaos.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Some of the effects are god specific and can be used if you have a detachment totally dedicated to that god. So some of these effects. So you have to have a full detachment. So you could run, a detachment of Zinchen and a detachment of Nurgle if you wanted, and use both god-specific ones. Yeah, very easy.
So very easy.
Let's see. Yes. We're going to run through a few of these warp storm effects. We each picked 1 for undivided each, and then Jason throughout this whole thing is going to be running Nurgle and Zinch picks, and I'm going to be running Korn and Slanesh picks throughout. So, Jason, what was your undivided pick for Warp Storm effect?
I liked Malicious Misdirection. So, use this effect at the start of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Until the end of that step, enemy strategic reserve units can only be set up as if they were the second battle round. Which, I mean, they have to roll higher, correct, Kevin?
No. The way that strategic reserves work is you can come in deeper afield later in the game.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked that. It honestly, though, it's a little more Zinchy than undivided, but whatever, we'll take it.
Yeah, they're just more deeper into the opponent's face, as it were, which is really cool. And it kind of helps with, you're not summoning anymore. Summoning isn't a thing anymore, which is good because it was a nightmare before in narrative play. So using strategic reserves and deep strike is kind of a way to simulate summoning. So that's a good thing. I picked Insidious Whispers. Now, in Jason's defense, I did manage to squeak in my notes shortly before he did, so I got to pick all the cool ones. Maybe.
I like this one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, Insidious Whispers. 2 Warp Storm points. It's an aura. While an enemy psychic unit is within 12 inches of this unit, each time a psychic test is taken, it suffers perils of the warp on any dice roll that includes a double instead of only a double 1 or a double 6.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's a lot of fun. You put a really annoying, noisy unit up front, and all of a sudden they start dealing mortal wounds to themselves and you didn't even have to cast a psychic power.
That is pretty nice. Yeah. I then picked up Nurgle. What was it? Swarming Insects. Use this effect at the start of the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a Legiones Demonica Nurgle model from your army makes a melee attack, add 1 to that attack's hit roll. Thought that was kind of cool, that there's so many insects that are actually causing damage.
Yeah, and to reiterate, a lot of these where it says this unit, it's all the units. Get it? So like that Insidious Whispers, every unit has that ability.
Oof.
So my next one that I picked was for Khorne, Overwhelming Rage. That one is 4 Warp Storm points. So this is like a really powerful one.
Yeah.
But until the end of the phase, each time an enemy unit within engagement range tries to fall back on a 4+, they can't fall back. And for Khorne, that is super great.
Yeah.
That is super good. And I think it's not just, it's called Overwhelming Rage, right? That's not the Khorne unit overwhelmed with rage. That's your opponent is too wrapped up in the emotions of that Khorne is welling up in them to fall back. Like they are not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
So they can't fall back. I think that even works for vehicles. Like it is crazy cool. I love that. I love that ability.
Yeah, that one's a fun one.
Yeah.
Then I have for Tzeentch, Rampant Mutation. I like the name more than the effect. Like the effect's really good, but I really like the name. Use this effect in the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a Legiones Demonica Tzeentch model from your army makes a melee attack, an unmodified roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target, in addition to any normal damage. Each unit can only suffer a maximum of 3 mortal wounds as a result of this effect per phase. Okay. So, that actually could be a lot of fun if you had a bunch of horrors that had,
just pop in smites or whatever.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. I mean, with enough, attacks out of those guys, if you have a huge mob of them, they could do some real damage.
Oh, yeah. Melee attack. My bad.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, no, that's cool. And don't forget, guys, for each of these, there are for Undivided, there were 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, 8. There were 8. And for each of the gods, there are 3. So there's a lot of these. You have a lot of options here.
Yeah.
But each of the god ones is really cool. Like really adds some flavor. And this secondary kind of mechanic is really easy to manage. It's just 1 points pool.
Mm-hmm.
You roll for it at the start of the battle round. There's no crazy junk you have to do, like for like the Imperial Knight book.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna open. I'm just gonna crack that door a little bit. You know, I'm not gonna start going crazy with the sodium right now. But like this book is way better for like this mechanic is way easier to deal with. Even though there's a lot of options here, you kind of know what you're going to be doing. So I like that.
What's funny is, I have a Zinch army, and as I was reading over this stuff, I was like, I could run them. I could do that. I've got, change. I have a Flux Master and the Changeling, and I've got a Demon Prince. This could be. I've got more other demons here that I want to talk about, to be honest. So yeah, I could see myself running it because the Crusade doesn't bother me, if that makes sense. So yeah.
The one for Slaanesh that I picked is Dark Hallucinations. It's so cool. It's only 2 Warp Storm points.
Yeah.
And you use it at the start of your opponent's turn, and until the end of the turn, when they're within 12 inches of one of your units, one of your Slaanesh units, you roll 2d6, and if it's greater than their leadership, they fail the action, and they suffer D3 mortal wounds.
I kind of like that one a lot.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Is so thematic and so cool. I love it.
This is such an interesting
I know
book.
that. Oh, sorry, dude. I know that some people don't like stuff that says no, you can't do things.
Yeah,
but that's just so cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's interesting how kind of flavorful almost that this book is. There's so many fun little things that make sense. Yeah.
So why don't we jump into we're gonna briefly touch on the unit abilities for each of the gods.
Yeah.
So Jason, you want to do Nurgle?
Yeah, we'll start off with Nurgle. Page 89.
First of all, for 89 of your hymnals.
That's right.
It's really neat. Each of the bestiaries for the gods is its own separate section. So and all the abilities are right in front of it.
Yeah. Bestiaries, so that's the best way to that's the way to describe it. I did not have the how many other ways are they going to spell Jason? Sorry, I have Discord on, and I think that's Eric and Mike that are changing. Wow. Okay. Sorry to break the wall there. Okay. So each of these bestiaries, love that word, is broken up into very specific things. Like you can now go through and create an exalted greater demon. So, for instance, for Nurgle, we have an exalted great unclean one. That's the first thing. You can, for a small power points upgrade, and I mean small, 1 to 2 power level or just 20 to 30 points, you can upgrade your great unclean one or your Lord of Change or your Bloodthirster or whatever. So for the great unclean one, you've got 3 different little powers here or abilities: Bountiful Gifts, Hideous Visage, and Revoltingly Resilient. I don't know whether to talk about these or just kind of describe my favorite one, or what do you think, Adam? Ooh, I know. I'll talk about one because there's the first one, Bountiful Gifts. We've just talked about this. Flavor text. Deep in this demon's unnatural innards is a captive warp rent that leads to a near infinite ocean of supernatural foulness. The great unclean one holds this tide of filth within itself, occasionally burping forth pure warp energy, invigorating its fellows with a noisome stench. I don't know who wrote that, but obviously they've got a strong stomach at lunch. So, at the end of each battle round, if this model is on the battlefield, you can retain up to 2 unspent warp storm points from that previous era or area.
I like that. That's so cool.
Yeah. That's just 1 to 2 power level. Bountiful is 2 power level, 25 points. But that's not much. We didn't have some stratagems. I just chose one that I thought was more amusing than the others. Slime Trail. Because
Ew.
yeah, the more slug-like of Nurgle demons exude a paralyzing slime that leaves victims numbed and despairing.
Reminds me of an old partner I used to have.
And we're going to keep going. Use the stratagem at the start of your opponent's movement phase. Select one Beast of Nurgle or Horticlus Slimix unit from your army. Each time an enemy unit, excluding aircraft or Titanic units, within the engagement range of that unit is selected to move, roll 1d6. On a 4-up, that enemy unit cannot fall back this turn. They are glued to the ground.
Ew. Yeah, maybe that's why I stayed with them for so long. All right, what's the...
Let's go through to... So get the Nurgle stratagems. Now we'll have the Warp Rot... Warp Rot discipline. I forgot to write an R. There's 6 of them. It's a psychic discipline. I chose Nurgle's Rot because one, you expect that one, and 2, it actually is kind of cool. Gurgling praise to its god, the demon exudes a wave of soul pox that eats away the spiritual essence of those who lack Nurgle's blessings. Victims' eyes become glassy, their flesh sinks upon their bones, and their limbs fall slack before they collapse and begin to rot before their horrified comrades' eyes. Cute. All right, so Witchfire has a warp charge of 7. Not too bad. If manifested, roll 2d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of the Psyker. Yeah, don't get into melee with this guy. If the result is higher than the highest toughness characteristic of the models in that unit, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If the result is at least double the highest toughness, that unit suffers D6 mortal wounds instead.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could tear up some stuff.
Gross.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I mean, it is Nurgle's Rot, so...
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff on here. I mean, I've been real happy with what we've been getting lately, with things that make me almost want to puke in this regards. We then, of course, have a Warlord trait just for Nurgle. I went ahead and chose Heaving Mass because,
again, like a former partner I once had, this book is on the nose.
Saturated with corruption and fatted upon a diet of mortal souls, this demon's swollen frame seethes with unclean vitality.
Yes. Okay, check. Moving on.
Add 2 to this Warlord's wound characteristic. Yeah, so... Yeah. We keep talking about how Nurgle, Nurgle survives just because you keep beating on it and just giggles at you. So, and then now we have Relics of Nurgle. There's about, 1, 2, 3, 6.
There's a lot of options for each god.
Yeah, there are.
There's a lot. It's not like other sub-factions where you get a couple. Because there's only 4 sub-factions, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot more options for each one, which is great.
I chose Tome of 1,000 Poxes because it sounded awful. How this rotten volume found its way out of the diseased libraries of the scholar Kagath may never be known. But within its fetid, demon-hide pages are the secrets of many of that demon's most ruinous plagues. Even the simplest infection can bloom into new and vibrant potency by using the arcane incantations it contains, each inscribed in divine ichor. Yay! So, Psyker model only. The bearer knows 1 additional psychic power from the Warp Rot discipline, and each time the bearer attempts to manifest a psychic power from the Warp Rot discipline, if the result of the psychic test is 7, that psychic power cannot be denied. Which I thought that was very spot on to have that 7. It's like, yeah, there's your number of Nurgle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you do me a favor while I'm reading off this first part, can you look up the Bloodletter page, please?
Yes, let me bring that up.
So for the Exalted upgrades for the Bloodthirster, I'm just gonna like rattle them off real quick. Indomitable Onslaught, it's 2 extra power level. You lose only 8 wounds per phase, which is pretty good.
That actually is really good. Yeah.
Master of the Blood Tide, +1 power. It's +1 attack and strength in first combat situations, which I think most Bloodthirsters have a multi-attack profile. So, like if they have a Lash Whip, it's like 3 attacks per attack. So, adding +1 attack basically adds 3 attacks. Then they have Rage Unchained for +2 power. Double wounds for determining the damage chart, which is usually good, but I think for some of these, if I recall, some of these old Bloodthirsters got better as they took damage anyways.
Yeah.
So the Bloodletter, I was wondering about the banners and stuff. Like, are those just automatically included in the units, or do you pay for those?
I think you have to pay for them. It's not like a power level. It would be pretty low.
Yeah. Do they do anything on the sheet? Like do they do anything for having them in the unit?
So for the icon, each time a combat attrition test is taken for this unit, you can ignore any or all modifiers. So that's not too bad. So
it actually does something.
Yeah. And the Instrument of Chaos is add 1 to the leadership characteristics of model in this unit. So you can move from a 7 leadership to an 8 leadership.
Okay, good to know. But there's also stratagems and stuff that affect units with banners.
Oh, okay.
And there's like upgrades and stuff. So the stratagem that's why I wanted to know the stratagem I picked for Khorne was sorry, buddy. Banner of Blood.
Yeah.
So the Banner of Blood, 1 CP. The dark icons carried above Khorne's demonic hosts spur those who march below them forward with greater fury. Roll an additional d6 to charge and discard the lowest.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's real good.
Yeah, that's real good.
Because you can still CP reroll that if you really needed to.
Yep.
And reroll all 3 dice.
Yeah, that could get pretty brutal.
That's a really cool one. I like that one. And there's other, a lot of this stuff is like each one has like a relic one or whatever. This one lets you move, like there's one that lets you move towards an enemy unit in the charge or in the combat phase. Like it's pretty cool, but I really liked Banner of Blood. It like shows there are stratagem interactions with banners, which is really interesting. The Warlord trait I picked was Rage Incarnate. The fury with which this demon hurls itself at the enemy serves as a beacon of wrath to its like-minded minions. +1 to advance and charge for the Warlord, which isn't great. It's okay, but it's not great.
Yeah.
But then each time a friendly core unit declares a charge against an enemy unit within engagement range of the Warlord, they also add +1 to the charge roll made.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's some really fun stuff
really
here. Some really fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
Part of me, as I look at this, I keep thinking, of my Blood Ravens wanting to steal all these relics, That's why they failed. That's why they failed the warp. They stole the wrong thing.
And I guess from a match play perspective, some of these are probably better for one type of Bloodthirster than another. And I couldn't tell you. Like, there's one that's +1 to wound. I'm sure there's a sweep attack that would really love a +1 to wound. I don't know. Think about that when you're picking your warlord traits for match play. The relic I picked, there's a bunch of weapons in the Khorne one, obviously, and there's armor. There's armor and there's psychic negation stuff. But the one that I really love is the Crimson Crown. It is said that this crown was created from a single drop of Khorne's blood. A measure of the blood god's endless wrath is bound within the crown, and its effect upon its demonic servants is palpable. Fueled by the artifact's fell presence, Khorne's demons are driven to ever greater heights of savagery and slaughter. At the end of each battle round, if the bearer destroyed any enemy models during that battle round, you can retain up to 2 unspent warp storm points.
See, that's where we could get real fun real quick, is how to keep those extra warp storm points.
Yeah, start banking them for a real big turn later.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I really like that. All that Khorne stuff I'm looking there, it just seems like fun. Some of it's defensive in nature, which is somewhat weird until you realize sometimes Khorne models don't make it into combat, and you kind of need some defensive stuff in order to do that. And Khorne is a master of all forms of combat, not just insensate rage. So it's good. It's good. So Jason, talk to us about
the Lord
Tzinch.
Tzinch. Aaron. Okay. So
you done bleeped up Tzinch. Tzintich. Honestly, there are some people that pronounce it that way. Tzintich.
Oh, are there? Okay.
There are. We're not trying to make fun of you guys. It's just funny to us.
Yeah. All right. So Exalted Lords of Change. There's 3 abilities: Architect of Deception, Master Mutator, and Nexus of Fate. Architect of Deception, basically you're -1 to hit. Nexus of Fate, in your command phase, you can roll a d6 and a 4 up, you gain 1 command point. Pretty standard. But I really dig the Master Mutator. The merest touch of this demon's magics causes the fabric of real space to twist and distort. Screaming victims find their bodies and war gear erupting into grotesque mutant growth that soon reduces even the most stoic or magnificent warrior to a mewling heap of fleshy ruination. Wow. Okay. That's pretty rough. So at the end of your psychic phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit that suffered any mortal wounds as a result of a psychic power manifested by this model this turn. On a 2-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So you're already hitting them with Smite. You're probably already hitting them with at least 1 other power. And here's another mortal wound just because I hate you.
Just because you deserve to eat mortal wounds, yes.
Yeah, and
I am here for that.
Yeah. As I was starting thinking, I have so many models that would count as a, Lord of Change that it's ridiculous. All right, let's see. Stratagems, Warp Portal. There's 8 stratagems, which I'll be honest, I like the idea of having just a small number of stratagems to work from. I don't know. That's just me. Warp Portal. This demon prizes open an unnatural shortcut through the warp. So, use the stratagem in your movement phase when you select a Legionis Demonica Tzinch character model from your army to make a normal move. Instead of moving it as normal, remove that unit from the battlefield and set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches from any enemy models. If that character model has the Herald keyword, the stratagem costs 1 CP. Otherwise, it's 2. Which, I kind of like that one. The Thousand Suns have Sorcerer's Facade for the Cult of Duplicity that you get it for free. But, well, not for free. You get it as a possible psychic power.
Psychic power, yeah.
But I love the idea of being able to redeploy big units.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's how my game style has always been. Just like, I don't care where you set up, I'll be there in a second. Then we have the pandemonic disciplines, the psychic powers. And
Pandemonic.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, oh man. Or probably pandemonium or pandemoniac, whatever.
Pandemoniac?
Yeah.
Okay, Games Workshop writers. This is fine.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, did you hear that Wade Price is now lead narrative lead?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone else is doing his show, and he is now the lead of the lore at Games Workshop. Congratulations, Wade. Yeah. No, it's going to be good. Not that the other people were bad. I'm just saying congrats to him. It's in good hands, is what I'm saying.
Cool. I chose Infernal Flames. Cackling madly, the Psyker's minions are wreathed in pink and blue flames that leap forth to consume their foes. Blessing. Really? Okay. Infernal Flames is a warp charge of 7. If manifested, select one friendly core unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic attack, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. So that's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And is there a lot of blessings in that? Well, there's probably some mortal wound dealing as well, right?
Yeah, there's a boon of change, because that's anything with Tzeentch always has boon of change, like automatically. And then you've got Bolt of Change, which I think is similar to Doom Bolt from the
like 3 mortal wounds or something.
Yeah, something like that. Well, no, it's a little bit different, actually.
Well, this is Tzeentch. I don't mind talking about a couple of the powers. What does that one do?
Here, this one's actually funny. I think I wrote in the notes that these psychic powers will seem very familiar to Thousand Sons and Demons players. So, Bolt of Change, warp value 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches and visible to the Psyker. Roll 9d6.
Huh.
Yeah. On a 5-up, for every 5-up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound, which, that's probably about 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
For each model destroyed as a result of these mortal wounds, that unit suffers 1 additional mortal wound to the max of 3.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. Like I said, I looked at this and went, okay, I guess I can play Tzeentch. I've got the models. So I probably will be playing just Tzeentch at one point, although I'll definitely continue playing my Thousand Sons. But all right.
Yeah.
Warlord traits. 6 of those, all pretty good, but the one I was most interested in was Fractal Mind. This demon's consciousness is a many-faceted tangle of infinite complexity that allows it to divide its perceptions and attentions in a way that would drive mortal minds to madness. That sentence drives my mind to madness, but, whatever. If this warlord attempts to perform a psychic action in your psychic phase, it can still attempt to manifest 1 psychic power during that phase without that psychic action failing.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your secondaries are, I bet, I haven't looked at any of the secondaries in this book because match play.
Yeah.
But I suspect, just like the Thousand Sons book, the Tzeentch, at least one Tzeentch secondary objective has to do with a psychic action. So it'd be great to be able to do that and then still cast a power.
Yeah, well, there's still what is it? I don't know if you remember this, but from the Thousand Sons, there's this thing in the Crusade where
agenda.
Yeah, an agenda, and that agenda shows up in here too for
cool.
Tzeentch.
Cool. Then that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I've I now know that other book well enough that I'm looking at this and going, oh, okay. I'm basically, I don't have the same book, but it's close enough that I feel really comfortable with it. Relic of Zinch. Man, there are a lot of cool ones in this one. I mean, that's the issue.
Name them all, and then read the actual one you picked.
Okay, so the Endless Grimoire, the Impossible Robe, which sounds like a Doctor Who episode, but I could be wrong. It sounds
like a D&D magic item that you probably shouldn't put on, but you do immediately.
Yeah, that. The Everstave. Man, that sounds like something on a Forgotten Realms, doesn't it?
It sounds like something that Doctor Strange would have.
Yeah. Warp Fireblade, Soulbane, and here's the best one, Soul Eater Stave.
Hell yeah. I love that. So which one did you pick to talk about?
I chose the Impossible Robe. The wearer of this robe exists between several realities at once. Thus can a demonic commander potentially control Zinch's interests multiple times and places simultaneously to further multiple aspects of the Great Plan. This effect makes it hard for foes to truly harm the wearer, who flickers between planes of reality in an unpredictable fashion. However, the robe is capricious. It has been known to rip its wearer out of reality altogether should they lose control of its powers. So that's a long, fancy way of saying that once per phase, when a saving throw has failed for the bearer, you can use this ability. And if you do so, the damage characteristic of the attack is changed to 0.
Yeah, there's been a few of these where you just like ignore one. Like somebody shoots you with something idiotic.
Yeah.
It does like 8 damage. You're like, you know what?
No, I don't.
No thanks. No thanks. Or you save it for when maybe they either down to 1 wound or whatever. Oh yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's That's a really cool one.
Yeah.
All right, so Slaanesh.
There we go.
The Exalted Keepers are Diaphanous Panoply. For their Exalted ability. That one, ranged attacks are -1 to wound. That's pretty sweet, especially considering they have such good saves against ranged attacks anyways.
Yep.
You have Epicurean of Agonies, also +2 power. 6s to hit in combat, score +1 a hit. That's pretty nice. And very Slaanesh-y, because they're usually like a whirl of blades, you know. Then Insatiable Onslaught, which gives the Keeper a +2 to advance and charge, which that one's really great. Anything that helps you get stuck in is good, in my opinion. And also, Slaanesh models are fast. All Slaanesh are super fast. Former artists, formerly known as elves, who are very quick and very dexterous. The stratagem I picked is Impossible Elegance, but with a special shout out for Thirst for Souls.
Yeah. What about those guys?
So, sorry, buddy. I'm trying to find the page.
I'm finding it too. For those of you who have Kindle, it's 107.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk about Thirst for Souls is really cool. I like it because this is what stratagems are meant for, right? Like, build it. So it just basically lets you re-roll your hits against Eldari units because they're hungry for Eldar. But if you were to build that into the power of the unit itself, it would be wasted power unless you were fighting Eldar.
Right.
So this is the perfect use of a stratagem. This is why stratagems exist, mainly. You know?
I like that.
Anyway, it's one of the good reasons why stratagems should exist. Is my argument.
Yeah, I can see that.
The one I really picked is Impossible Elegance for 1 CP.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest of Slaanesh's demons move with an idealized grace and agility rendered hideous by its sheer precision and impossibility. So, what this one does, not you can't use it with the flesh mowers, but each time a melee attack is made against it, any unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 fails. So all of these really powerful things like Dread Knights or even Imperial Knights or Primarchs, really strong units that rely on that 2 to hit.
Yeah.
Are only hitting on 4s.
That's good.
So I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
Especially if you're jumping in there with your Keeper of Secrets or whatever.
Yeah. I remember seeing that one. I think there was one similar in Nurgle that looked pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
so
yeah.
We have the Soul Stain Discipline.
That name does make me laugh on a lot of.
The one I picked is Hysterical Frenzy. Yeah, a lot of the powers you'll recognize. Delightful Agonies, Phantasmagoria, Cacophonic Choir, Symphony of Pain. These are all
I love these
familiar
titles. Well, you have Pavon of Slaanesh, Symphony of Pain, Cacophonic Choir. Those are just those are musical terms. Pavon is a dance. That's really cool. Am I playing Slaanesh? No, but I really do dig that they've used those terms. Sorry,
Hysterical. No, it's totally Hysterical Frenzy is a blessing. +1 attacks characteristic of a core. It's you target a core unit, so adding +1 attacks to a unit of demonettes is that's a lot of attacks.
Yeah,
and every time they make a melee attack on a unmodified 6, they get an additional hit.
Ooh,
so
yeah,
there's just so many hits.
Yep,
it's just you can drag down something way bigger than you with all those attacks.
Yep.
Some of the Delightful Agonies is still a 5+, feel no pain, which isn't very exciting, but at least it's a thing that you have, especially when you have such low toughness.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I love Slaanesh.
Hold on, I want to read one of the flavor texts real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So just so y'all know, Pavon is a dance. I'm sure if it's in 3 or 4. I can never remember that. Compelled by this demon's plaintive urging, its victims begin an ever more desperate dance, flailing and contorting with wild abandon until flesh tears and bones snap from the natural contortions. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That makes me pretty happy.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter, or no, Tasha's Uncontrollable Dance.
Yeah.
So good. Warlord traits, a lot of them are what you'd expect. Using Slaanesh's speed and stuff like that as the murder dance.
Yeah,
is a warlord trait.
I was looking at that.
Quicksilver Duelist, Fatal Caress. These are all things that you'd expect to see in a warlord trait for Slaanesh. But the one I wanted to pick was Aura of Bewitchment. It's an aura. Even the most disciplined warriors succumb to this demon's beguilements, all thoughts lost in a haze of hallucinatory desire. An enemy unit within 6 inches cannot perform actions. If the unit is performing an action, when it comes in range, it immediately fails.
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
I am happy with that. That is pretty cool.
I like Murder Dance. Each time the warlord fights, if it makes a charge move this turn, then that fight is then until that fight is resolved, add D3 to its attacks characteristics. I can't speak tonight. Okay, cool. I think that's a really cool, flavorful one.
For Relics of Slaanesh, I am very okay. I don't know if you guys want me to actually read all this. This is a lot of flavor text. Each one of these has a paragraph, but here we go. The Forbidden Gem. This gem was the purest diamond in the Aldari Empire in the time before the fall. It was a source of jealous pride to its keeper, a noble by the name of Yggdrasil, who spent increasing amounts of time transfixed by its beauty. One of Slaanesh's first deeds after his apocalyptic birth was to capture Yggdrasil's soul and cage it within the very gem he once so coveted. Gazing upon this corrupted diamond now inspires uncontrollable jealousy, leaving mortal senses hopelessly addled.
Okay.
So Yggdrasil, that is a name we know.
Yeah.
In your command phase, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the bearer. Until the start of your next command phase, any aura abilities that unit has have no effect.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that you could
And I like
turn off a captain for Space Marines.
Oh, absolutely. And I like the idea of playing against an Eldar player and basically paralyzing them by making them watch a snuff film of one of their most beloved historical figures. Right? Like,
Yeah.
for real.
Oh, man. That's rough.
Okay. All right. So that was that. There's one last section, Disciples of Be'lakor. I'm not going to go into it. It's still an army of renown.
Yeah.
So that's how you're using Be'lakor to get a big mixed army of Chaos Space Marines and demons. So have a look at that if you're interested. But again, I prefer my Crusade play to not really be focused on named characters. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's me. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about the actual topic of this episode, and that's demons on Crusades.
Come here, boy, get the ball. Aw, come on, Max, get the ball. Mom, Max won't get the ball. He's lazy.
I think I know why your Zote is being lazy, Jenny.
Why, Mom?
Because you forgot to feed him his Zotabix today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, Zotabix contains all the nutrients and random animal parts a growing Zote craves. It not only provides our Zote with the energy it needs to play with you and protect our home, but it also keeps its chitinous shell fresh and shiny.
Oh, boy, I'd better feed Max his Zotabix.
Yes, you had.
Zotabix is made in part from grade
Max,
A
time for
Astra
dinner.
Militarum post-engagement byproduct and is infused with 112 essential vitamins
No,
and
Max,
minerals
down.
harvested from your Zote's natural habitat, the finest desert deserts.
Ah!
Zotabix is available in any shopping center on worlds where Zotes are allowed or where the Imperium's inexorable influence has not yet reached.
Damn, I knew it was around here somewhere. Damn, where is it?
Can I help you?
Ah! Scared me.
What do you seek?
I need the perfect scenario for a narrative game I'm running this week, and I can't find one.
Sir, this is the Black Library. We don't have narrative scenarios.
Well, then where should I go?
Might I recommend the Tabletop Campaign Repo?
The Tabletop Campaign Repo? What's that?
The Tabletop Campaign Repo is an ad-free site for hosting resources related to playing tabletop miniatures wargaming.
Oh, like scenarios?
Absolutely. Also, event packs, custom objectives, tracking sheets, custom terrain rules, maps, icon packs, award templates, and more.
Oh, and this is for Warhammer 40k?
Among other things, there's also Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and others. They're always open for content submissions for any system, even non-Games Workshop materials.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like a great way to save all of this great content the community makes. A lot of that stuff often ends up disappearing into a dead message board or Facebook group.
Exactly. It's a real community effort.
Great. So how do I get there?
Just go to that webway gate marked tcrepo.com.
tcrepo.com. Got it. Can I ask you one more question before I go?
Fire away.
This place is really easy to find. How come Armand can never find it?
Oh, because it's more funny that way.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Once again, the Tabletop Campaign repository can be found at tcrepo.com, and they're always looking for submissions.
Welcome back. Hi, Jason.
Yo, Adam.
Are you ready to welcome back?
I am ready to welcome back.
All right, welcome back. So the big new mechanic for demons in Crusade games is the Great Game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the simpler mechanics, one of the simpler Crusade mechanics, I think.
Yeah.
In that it's very clear the paths that you have to take. It's not like, oh, you have choice of all these quests or whatever. No, it's someone's in ascendancy at all times. And hopefully it's the demons that you have in your Crusade force.
Right.
So you get a great game tracker that you can photocopy and use in your games. It's in the back of the book. You can track ascendancy points for each god. So the gods start with 4 for Khorne, 3 for Tzeentch, 2 for Nurgle, and 1 for Slaanesh. And this seems thematically based on their actual presence in the galaxy and their age at the moment and so that's really cool. I like that. So at the end of every battle, you will recalculate each god's ascendancy and put it in rank order. Whatever abilities provided by each deity will be determined by its ascendancy rank. So at the end of every battle, each god gains D3.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the god associated with the battle's warlord gains 1.
Okay.
Unless you won the battle, then it's D3.
Got it. Okay.
Be'lakor has weird rules. Nobody cares about them. So,
yeah.
At first, if you're not playing Khorne, it'll take a couple of games for you to gain ascendancy, especially since everybody's getting the D3. It might get weird as you go.
Oh yeah,
and if you're doing
guaranteed.
Real crappy, if you're not winning games, you may it's possible if you're playing Slaanesh, you may never be in ascendancy, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, because the numbers on there, man, it could. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But if you're Khorne, you've got kind of a head start, so you could be okay. All right, so benefits for each god's position in the Great Game. First, that's the dominant, +1 leadership for units of that god. Once per battle, use an epic deed stratagem for 0 CP on a unit of that god.
Yeah.
Second,
that's super nice.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. +1 leadership for some of that stuff is going to be nice. All right. Second, close rival. +1 leadership for icon units of that god. Once per battle, use a command reroll stratagem for 0 CP on a unit of that god. Yeah, it's pretty good. Third, falling behind. No, nothing. Fourth, bitter jealousy. -1 leadership for units of that god. Reroll hit rolls against other gods' demons.
Yes, if you play somebody else who's playing demons, but they're playing, like you're playing Slaanesh and they're playing Nurgle, you actually get to reroll hit rolls.
Ow.
Yeah, it's brutal. So as the Crusade progresses, rounds of the Great Game are played out. So each round is 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of 8 games, you figure out who is the quote-unquote winner, and you reset the points.
Yeah.
The god who's in first place starts the next round with 4. The second place starts with 3, and so on, just like at the beginning of the campaign, right?
Right.
So at the end of each round of the game, rewards are doled out. So units in your army that are in the god who's in first place get +3 XP.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
And you get one greater demon gets 1 exalted, greater, or lesser reward. Second place gets plus 2 XP for every unit of that god, and you give out 1 lesser or 1 greater or lesser reward to one of the god's greater demons.
Okay.
Third place, you get plus 1 XP for every unit of that god, and give 1 lesser reward to one of the god's greater demons. And fourth, there are no rewards for failure.
Wah, wah.
Womp womp. Yep, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad, but I mean that's brutal. That's really cool mechanic. I like that.
I am gonna say I am super glad they did not make you keep track of which god's followers killed what, and like keeping tallies of who did what and
that'd be brutal.
Who performed actions, who killed units, who did. No, all that matters is who the warlord was during that game.
Man,
it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that could have been really bad. Okay. So now we'll look at agendas. And I kind of like this because wait, where is agendas? Page 131. Sorry guys, I have this all written down.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah. I really like how the agendas are set up here because if you're suffering from rules overload, each god only has 1 agenda. And that's I know for me that helps me out quite a bit. So
helps me out.
Anyways, nuke from orbit. Okay. So Nurgle, Seed the Garden.
Ew.
Where right? Where Nurgle's demons wreck their butchery, the heaped slain swiftly fester and bloom with new life pleasing to the plague god. So this is a little like in my notes I said just read the description. This thing is difficult to paraphrase.
Understood.
Yeah. At the start of the battle, divide the battlefield into 4 even quarters. Got it. Keep a Seed the Guard tally for each Legionis Demonica Nurgle unit from your army. Got it. The first time an enemy unit is destroyed in each battlefield quarter by a Legionis Demonica Nurgle unit from your army, add 1 to that unit's Seed the Garden tally. At the end of the battle, each unit gains 2 experience points for each mark on that unit's Seed the Garden tally. Which I guess isn't too difficult because now that for 1 second there I was thinking that to get this, that unit would have to kill someone on every quarter. So, but I don't think that's. Yeah, I was tired when I was reading it. So, but yeah, that's actually kind of cool. It works. It works.
Yeah, I have worthy trophies, and the flavor text is somewhat insulting. Some mortal skulls are more worthy than others. Essentially, kill the 3 units with the highest wounds characteristic for 2 XP each.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Fires of Tzeentch. If you've played Thousand Suns, this sounds real familiar. Each time a Psyker manifests Smite, which fire destroys an enemy unit in your Psychic phase, add 1 to the unit's Fires of Tzeentch tally. The unit at the end of the game with the highest tally gains 3 XP. The second highest gains 2 XP. Third gains 1 XP. Ties are broken by player choice.
I like that.
Yeah. It's not exactly the way the Thousand Suns do it, but I actually I kind of preferred this.
Yeah, and I like the player choice because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Instead of a stupid roll or something.
Yeah.
So Slanesh, I mean, that was a very expected one for Tzeentch. The Nurgle one is adorable. Yes, you're spreading your sicknesses. That's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Worthy trophies. That makes sense there. Slanesh, Savage Excess. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Though despising the crude butchery of Khorne's demons, those of Slanesh delight in sudden explosions of elegant savagery. Come on, Slanesh. Let's not pretend that there is no overlap. between your what you enjoy and what Khorne enjoys.
That's
You
right.
keep track of how many times your units kill an enemy unit in the first round of combat, and the top 3 units get XP.
Yeah.
3, 2, and 1 respectively.
Yep. I kind of like that mechanic shows up again.
Yeah.
You want to do Undivided?
Sure. The Undivided one is Corrupt Icons. You keep track of units killed that were with it. Like if a unit was within range and objective marker at the start of the turn and you kill it, a unit with an icon can perform an action at the end of the movement phase on an objective marker. Not with. Okay, sorry, I didn't really explain that very well. You get tallies for killing units that used to be within ranges of objective markers, right?
Yeah.
And then you also get tallies for performing this action. So what I really like about this is it lets you do 2 things with the same agenda. Either kill stuff that's near an objective or perform actions on an objective. I think that's really neat.
Then we wander over to requisitions.
Requisitions.
Yeah. I actually chose 2 requisitions. You'll see why
That's
in a
totally
second.
fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
But you have to give yours before I can give my second one.
I understood.
Yeah.
I understand where you're going with this. Yes.
So Exalted Demon. So if you want to go through and have your Exalted Demon of whatever that for match play would be like what, just a couple of points or player or power level. Here for 1 requisition point, you can go ahead and upgrade your Greater Demon from. Let's see. Hold on. Purchase this requisition when a Greater Demon model from your Crusade force gains the battle hardened, heroic, or legendary rank. That model is upgraded to be exalted. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a good way to do that.
You should have to do a requisition in order to get an exalted demon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's another way, but I think we talk about that later. Just like anything else, there's ways of it happening later. So the requisition I picked is just the best.
Yeah, it really is. It's cool.
It just brings me so much joy. It's called Ignoble Defeat. 1 requisition. Should a demon's essence spill from its corporeal form, a rival may seize the opportunity to ritually bind it into a weapon. While imprisoned, the trammeled demon lends supernatural power to its wielder's blows, all the time planning its eventual escape. You basically make a super sweet relic out of a greater demon's weapon, which is really awesome. The Khorne one is +1 strength. The Tzeentch one is AP -1. The Nurgle one is +1 damage, and the Slaanesh one, it has exploding hits on, mortal wounds on 6s.
Yeah.
But when that character model is bound, it cannot be included in your army roster. And keep a bound tally after each battle in which the binder was included in your army. Add 1 to the tally.
Yeah. So then I chose Glorious Return. When demons break out of captivity, they're able to put their newfound experience to great use while plotting their revenge. So purchase this requisition after any battle while a Legionis Daemonica character model from your model is bound. After you spend its 2 requisition points, the model is no longer bound, and that model gains 1 experience point for each mark on their bound tally. That tally is then removed.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
What a fun. These are some of the most fun requisitions I've seen.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah, these are great. I like what they're doing with this one.
Yeah. There's one also for D6 ascendancy points instead of D3, which that's good.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I mean, especially if you're playing like Slaanesh and you're already behind, it would be nice to get a D6 instead of a D3, unless you roll a 1.
Oh, Yeah, that would be
It should
bad.
be It should be D3 plus 3 or something. Minimum 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Come on, guys. I know it's Crusade, but that's a little rough for 1 requisition point. In fact, I would house roll that personally. I would call it 2D3 instead of D6. How about that?
Well, because what could be funny is even if they did roll, even if they did manage to get a decent D6 roll, because they're so far behind, Corn might be blowing way out that there's no way that,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because Corn gets one every game. They also get a D3, so.
Yeah.
I guess if it was easy, it wouldn't be a challenge.
That's true.
Loci?
Mm-hmm.
Loci of the Gods, page 133 of our hymnals. So these are new battle honors.
Mm-hmm.
You can give them to a greater demon or a herald. They're all auras, 6 inches for the greater demon and 3 inches for the heralds. And they only affect core units of that god. Okay?
Yep.
So what are the ones for Nurgle?
All right. So we have first one is Locus of Poxes Uncounted. Plague Bearers reroll charges, which
nice.
I think that's a good one.
Yes.
Locus of Fetid Regeneration. -1 damage to attacks against the model.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are great banner abilities.
Yeah. Minimum of 1, but still, that's nothing.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
That's awesome.
The Corn ones, Locus of Unstoppable Fury gives auto wound on 6s, which is super nice if you don't have to roll to wound, especially against something big and you got all these attacks. Locus of Diabolical Purpose, +3 inch to consolidate. That is pretty. I love that. I love the extra consolidate move.
Then for Zinch, we have Locus of Conjuration. Psyker's manifesting powers can re-roll any dice rolls of 1 or 2. And then it doesn't have to be core either. That's
the only one that's non-core, but it's psychic powers, so that's probably why.
Yeah, because horrors don't have psychic power. Yeah. The other one is Locus of Transmorgification. 6 up, feel no pain. Just a quick note, I love the word transmorgification. The first time I remember seeing it was in a Calvin and Hobbes comic.
Nice.
A long time ago. And I was wondering what that word was, and it got in there immediately. So it's nice to see that.
Slanesh, Locus of Delicate Evisceration, which sounds like a terrible way to die.
Yeah, it
Increase
does.
AP by 1, which is really nice. And then Locus of Unnatural Swiftness, Advance and Charge. That's the moneymaker right there for Slanesh.
Yep.
All right. Now we'll talk about some rewards of the Dark Gods.
Yeah.
These are the ones that you start applying as you progress in your campaign, okay? In your crusade, okay? These are applied to your demons. Now, I think there are lots of these, if I recall correctly.
There's 3 for each, the lesser, greater, and exalted rewards. So there's not a ton, but there's still a few.
And I think I just put like 2 for each of us. There wasn't any, I didn't really specify a god, because some of them don't specify a god anyways.
Yeah.
So you can just put them on whoever. All right. So what lesser reward did you pick, Jason?
I took Favored Followers. Okay. Each time you add a Legionis Demonica core unit to your order of battle, you can remove up to 3 ascendancy. You can remove up to 3 ascendancy points from the dark god that shares an allegiance keyword with that unit. If you do so, that Legionis Demonica core unit immediately gains a number of experience points equal to twice the number of ascendancy points removed. Which, that's, that means they would come in ranked. Was it Blooded? That's the first rank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you could have a unit that comes in and 3 ascendancy points from, like, Corn, who cares, right? But other gods might be a little more, Frugal, I
Right.
think is the word we're looking for.
If I were to run this, I would definitely. I mean, boy, I sure could see myself running a crusade with my demon orcs.
Yeah.
And running both Khorne and Tzeentch and making them fight over ascendancy. I think that sounds. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
I think that might actually be a really fun thing to do, and I might, if once Quinn goes to college and I'm almost dead, I'll run a crusade force. I picked Avatar of Unreality.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that one's a good one.
I love the description. With every step this malign entity takes, the tortured stuff of reality writhes in agony. Okay. Whoever wrote the flavor text in this book, they need a raise because they've done a really good job so far of disgusting us and scaring us. That was a great sentence.
I think that's also a quote from a Police song.
Could be. I mean, that's why you don't want to stand so close to somebody who is exuding the tortured stuff of reality, right?
Exactly.
Each time you make a warp storm roll, if this model is on the battlefield, roll one additional d6.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like, you know what? I know I'm getting an exalted reward, but this lesser reward is pretty freaking great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take that instead.
Yeah.
All right, let's. What greater reward did you pick?
I picked up Portal Keeper.
Okay.
Able to fashion metaphysical keys from the raw stuff of warp. This cunning abomination unlocks the hidden angles and fractures in reality, throwing the doors to the sea of souls open wide. So, if this model is part of your Crusade force and you are the attacker, then you start the battle with an additional 2 command points. If this model is part of your Crusade force and you're using the Strategic Reserves rule, you can have the command point cost required to place units into Strategic Reserves, rounding down.
Ooh.
So, yeah,
I love that.
That's not too bad. It's not too
You
bad.
basically get a free 9 power level to put in Strategic Reserves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm down with that. And rounding down means it could be 0.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yep. I picked Infernal Mark. Infernal Mark is different for each god, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do double duty. I'll do Khorne. +1 strength. What is it's okay. It's that's right. It's psychic for the Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh, and then it's different for Khorne.
Yeah.
So if it's Tzeentch, Nurgle, or Slaanesh, they get +1 psychic power. If it's Khorne, they get +1 strength. If it's Tzeentch, Nurgle, or Slaanesh, once per battle, when they manifest a power, they regain D3 wounds. If it's Khorne, if it destroys an enemy character, it regains D3 lost wounds.
Yeah. That's actually pretty
I forgot
good.
about that.
That one's
that's really neat.
That works really well for Khorne. It works well for the other guys, the other groups.
It's a lot easier to get off for the other ones, but +1 strength is pretty sweet. So can't really complain about. All right, let's look at these exalted rewards. Jason, which one did you pick?
I picked Lord of the Storm.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. Who would have figured, right? This blessing renders the demon a veritable lightning rod for the energies of raging warp storms, allowing it to draw empiric phenomena to itself and focus their fury to a screaming point. So, if this model is your warlord and the warp storm ability is in effect, and it probably will be, while this model is on the battlefield, each time you make a warp storm roll 1 additional d6. Aha, I've got my 9. All right. And once per battle,
yes, you do.
when you use a warp storm effect, reduce the warp storm point cost to that effect by 1.
Wow, that is so cool. Every round.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that what was it for Tzeentch? I think that the top number you have to have is 4, so be knocked down to 3. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I mean, each of these can only be taken once, but there's nothing about you can only take, so many. So you could actually have Avatar of Unreality and Lord of the Storm and have 10 dice to roll.
Yep.
Of course, each of these increases your Crusade points.
Mm-hmm.
So, keep that in mind. You're giving power to your opponent, but hey, whatever. You're rolling a bunch of Warp Storm.
That's right.
I picked Exalted Servant. So worshipful mortals depict this entity seated at its master's right hand and whisper in fearful tones of how its matchless deeds have been rewarded by the greatest gifts of their chosen dark god. So I love the fact that they, you get put on the literature.
Yeah.
For the cults, like you actually show up in the literature. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You use the Exalted Demon Requisition once for 0 RP.
Yeah.
But of course, it has to be this model. So this is how you become an Exalted Demon without actually spending the requisition.
Nice.
When you do so, that requisition can be used to give this model an additional Exalted ability, adjust that model's power rating as appropriate, and make a note on the card.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
All right, now we're off to Psychic Fortitudes. Let's see. So I'll go ahead and run Nurgle first, because why not?
Sure.
And plus, so all the gods that allow Psychic Fortitudes have, well, hold on. Slaanesh and Nurgle have 3 each. Tzeentch has 6. So with Nurgle, and I'm going to try and pronounce this, Epidemicurian.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
This entity tastes each new disease it manifests into real space, refining the brew to perfect contagiousness. Tastes? Ugh.
Right.
Yeah. Each time this psyker successfully manifests a psychic power, if the result of the psychic test was 7 plus, after resolving that psychic power, the closest enemy unit within 6 inches suffers 1 mortal wound. So, yeah, every time that's just a mortal wound generator.
Yeah.
I like your next part of the note.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So
in my editorial,
corn Psychic Fortitude is. Are you just going to cut in the song? Or?
Nah, I was thinking about putting Slayer's Rain in Blood, but
All right, Tzeentch.
There are a lot of cool powers in here. There's 6 of them. I think I ended up choosing 2. Spiteful Backlash. A demonic gift to sentient and spiteful warp flame dances about this entity's corporeal form, lashing out at those who would seek to trammel its sorcery and punishing them. Each time the psyker attempts to manifest smite or a witchfire psychic power, if an enemy psyker dares attempt to deny that psychic power, but the deny the witch test is failed.
Dare you?
If they fail, here's my favorite part: that enemy psyker suffers D3 mortal wounds. It's like, how dare you? The other one I chose was Implements of Ruin. Where is it? Let's see. The weapons wielded by this demon are empiric conduits given physical form. As it channels the power of the warp, so they hum with ever greater resonant lethality. In your psychic phase, if the psyker successfully manifests any psychic powers, until your next psychic phase, add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons the psyker is equipped with.
Oh, neat. So it empowers their psychic use, empowers their weapons.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that a lot.
There's some real nice ones on here. I'm just kind of looking at it and going, yep, these look like Tzeentch powers. These work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll add to the complication of the units that you're using, but I think it won't be a big deal remembering this stuff. Just put it like right above where you put your psychic powers or something.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll help.
I need to do that. Yeah.
All right, so Phantasmagoric Fugue is the one I picked for Nash.
I love that name.
Yeah, Phantasmagoria. Yeah. This demon's curses come disguised behind blessed veils of enrapturing yet unattainable daydream. Aw, man, yeah. The person who wrote these is really good.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Phil Kelly stepped down from like a management position and was just like, I'm retiring. I'm just going to kind of soft retire into just writing, and someone else can be the manager. I feel like that's what happened here.
I feel like I'm just going to write all these terrifying, descriptions.
Yeah.
Have fun,
dude.
kids.
For real. Yeah. For real. I think that's literally what happened. So every time an enemy unit is affected by Witchfire Malediction, by this Psyker, until the end of the turn, they cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. I think that's really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up,
so
battle traits.
Battle traits.
Yeah.
There are some fun things in here.
There's some good.
Nurgle is great. Nurgle is great.
You like the name of that one that I chose?
Oh, it's so fun.
So I chose for Nurgle Encrusted Scabs, which I'm pretty sure that's got to be someone's punk band in high school. And if it's not, the world's a sadder place. All right. So Encrusted Scabs. The hides of these disgusting creatures are covered in a thick layer of congealed pus and ichor, deflecting the blades of their foe. So models in this unit have a demonic save characteristic of 4 and 4. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure how powerful that is, but that's going to be pretty good.
I mean, 4-up invuln save in close combat for a plague bearer sounds pretty freaking awesome to me.
Oh, that's true.
Like, do they have feel no pain? I think they do, right? Or do they have -1 damage? Yeah, let's look up plague bearers. We've looked up all the other ones. Why not? While you look that up, I'm going to say the Bloodletter ability, Aspiring Skulltakers, is just the best.
That is a cute one.
If they kill an enemy character, the character subtracts 2 from their out of action test at the end of the battle.
Let's see. On Plague Bearers, well, they're a 5-up, 4-up.
5-up, 4-up, and what are their special abilities?
Not just demonic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have like a feel no pain, or what's their toughness?
Toughness 5.
Okay, well, so there you go. So T5, 4-up invuln.
Yeah.
And who knows? Like we're probably missing some kind of aura from a Great Unclean One, or there's probably a lot of layers of stuff going on here, you guys, that you're gonna have to figure out for yourselves when you look at your favorite models.
Yeah. I'm sure there's.
But anyways, Aspiring Skulltakers causes a -2 to your opponent's out of action tests for their characters if you kill them. So they're likely going to be taking some kind of horrible penalty for being killed by you, which is great.
I chose for Tzeentch Shatter Selves.
Okay.
Out of action test.
Shatters elves or shatter selves?
I like Shatters elves better, but
nice. I like that.
Yeah, I mean Christmas is only 3 months out. Just 119 more shopping days until Christmas. Wow, I know that. Sad. Okay, so out of action tests taken for this unit are automatically passed, which that's on horrors. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cute to have.
Yeah. Slanesh, I picked Perfect Killers. for demonettes. Yeah, all of these are only on like the core
Yeah.
troop units, by the way. Yeah.
Which
There's
that's-
enough going
yeah.
on for characters in this book that it wasn't necessary to do battle traits as well for the characters.
That
Because
is
they're already
true.
getting exalted rewards and crap like that.
Yeah.
So every time you make a warp storm roll, if any enemy units were destroyed by an attack made by this unit in the previous battle round, roll 1 additional d6. I'm super down with like adding more dice to that warp storm roll. I think that's really cool, and how they're folding in ways of affecting it. And this is just this one. The flavor text was, these demonettes are experts at their deadly task. Their every perfect evisceration drawing the eye of Slaanesh. So Slaanesh is just watching this happening, clapping with glee and doling out warp storm points.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Next up, we have relics, and we split this to be between. We each chose one from antiquity relics and another from legendary. So now you're thinking, okay, Jason, which Zinch one was it? I didn't like the Zinch one, but I like the Cord one. So Cuirass of Rage.
Nice.
This solid brazen plate covers the demon's chest and is infused with the fury and scorn at those who attempt to strike them down. Even the mightiest blows are turned aside by its rune-engraving surface, leaving no mark. So, once per turn, the first time a saving throw is failed for this bearer, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, get up there and fight Gilliman. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You're okay.
I picked another troll relic, the Jewel of Excess.
Yeah.
Seeming as one perfect ornament among many worn by this demon. The Jewel of Excess is in fact a tormenting prison housing the souls of every psyker ever slain by the bearer. Their power now, the demons.
Yeah.
So every time the bearer tries to do a psychic power, they get +1 to the psychic test, and they get +1 to deny the witch. So that's really cool.
Nice.
All right, which legendary?
What did I pick? I picked Tome of Endless Dimensions, which definitely is the Zinch one.
That is definitely Zinch.
Yeah. The crystalline pages of this grimoire stream with constantly shifting fragments of words, whose meanings entwine and contradict as they filter through from overlapping but subtly different realities. Should a mortal seek to comprehend these etchings, they would be swiftly driven mad by almost glimpsed snatches of sanity-blasting revelation. To the fluctuating consciousness of a demon, however, the empowering sorcerer's secrets are all too easily gleaned. Zinch model only. Each time the bearer attempts to manifest a Witchfire psychic power or smite on a modified psychic test of 9 or more, if that power is not denied, after resolving the effects of the psychic power, you can resolve the effects of that psychic power again. There.
Ooh.
Hit you twice. Yeah.
Ooh, that book is nasty.
Uh-huh.
Nasty book. You're going to have to model that if you get that, though.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So for my other relic, I picked another troll one, the Tears of Assyrian. It's literally the tears of the Eldar god Assyrian when the Eldar were birthed the Slaanesh. So once per battle in your command phase, you can shatter a Tear of Assyrian. They're not limited. You don't only get D6 of them, but you can use it once per battle. You get 6 warp storm points.
And
until the start of your next command phase, the bearer knows all the psychic powers of the soul stained discipline.
Yep, that one's a good one.
It's a real good one.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, dude? You think you'll be able to juggle all this stuff going on in here? Especially, I assume you're only going to do one god, right?
Yeah, I'm only doing one. There's no way I could go through and do all of them.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we talk about? We could. Do you want to take a break, or
No,
you
let's
think
go
we
ahead
should
and talk
just
about it.
jump into it?
Let's jump on
So
in.
we're gonna. All right, we're gonna talk about Jason's Crusade list for this incursion in Lucky Space campaign that we're
Yeah.
gonna be doing.
Yep.
We're gonna do 100 power level lists just so we can, we're only gonna go 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we have plenty of fun stuff to work with. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jason, what was your thought with this list?
So in our last campaign, it ended with my Exalted Sorcerer getting thrown through a warp rift, because that happens. And so I was thinking, oh, cool, that means we can go through and, kind of redo all that. And I can run Thousand Suns and the demons that I want to. So I have a small Thousand Suns list. It's basically a combat patrol. And then I have a bunch of demons that I'm looking at as just being schleps that can die.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought back my Exalted Sorcerer, who starts out at 7 power level. I think I have to modify this because of traits and whatnot, but he's on Disc of Zinch. He's got the plasma pistol. He has that Incadium staff that has the shooting. Cult of Duplicity. I'm keeping the same spells. So he's got Temporal Manipulation, which is essentially a healing spell. Smite and Sorcerer's Facade, which is part of the Cult of Duplicity. And it's like a teleport. So he has healing, teleportation, and smite. So healing, fireball, and teleport. You know? There you go. Keeping the same Warlord trait that I had before, which is from the Sorcerer's Facade, which was Master Informator, which is just to redeploy at the start of the battle round for Thousand Sun units. He did have a battle trait and a chaos boon. So the battle
we can keep those if you want.
Yeah. I was wanting to keep
Nothing
those just so I can kind of get used to them. Battle trait was Eye of Zinch, which rerolls out of action tests for this unit, and each time this model gains a chaos boon, you can reroll the result. Which, if you know that codex, if you double up a chaos boon, you get turned into a spawn. So yeah, that was my thinking there. Let's see, chaos boon, crystalline body. I add 1 to the model's toughness characteristic, which I'm sure this probably pushes him at like 8 or 9 PL, but yeah. And then I decided, well, let's go ahead and pull in a Demon Prince because he's been thrown through the warp. Who knows what he's going to run into in this demon, this warp. And I actually bring back an old unit that we had from before. Demon Prince, I don't have much on him yet because I never had a chance to really develop the Demon Prince in our, I guess, during that other campaign. I'm taking a Rubric squad with me because I figured, hey, maybe this Rubric squad was pretty close to him as he was thrown into the warp. So,
he might as well have someone there to.
Yeah. And then I threw in some Spawn just for giggles, because Spawn are hilarious.
They are hilarious.
So that's the Thousand Suns portion. And I could still change this around. I don't know. I'm not completely set in stone on this. Now for my Zinch demons, I decided to bring back an old buddy, the Flux Master. Now, who's the Flux Master? Adam remembers the Flux Master.
I do.
Yeah. So there was a pink horde that survived our first campaign, and so, or he maybe survived one of the games. I think he was the only one left in the unit, and he got promoted. So yeah. So that's one of my HQs, and then I've got the Changeling because I have one painted.
Nice.
Troops. I just put in 4 units of horrors just because.
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of nice is that the iridescent horror is now a standard, sergeant. There's a slight problem with that. I only have 2 iridescent horrors.
Oh.
So I checked last night and found out that GW is doing on-demand horrors, the old metal sculpts, and so I went ahead and ordered a box of those because they look much different, you know. So okay, cool. I'm just going to paint those as iridescents. So let's see what else. Bringing a 3 units of flamers, minimum size flamers, and a bunch of screamers, you know, just so I can have it all set up, you know.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is what I have now, but I might change some stuff around, just, you know.
3 units of flamer. Okay, yeah. So if you were to play a game, if you're playing this campaign, would you prefer to use the Demon Crusade list, or would you prefer to use, because in my opinion, if you wanted to do the demons, I would be fine with you using the Exalted Sorcerer and the Rubric Squad as like Agents of Chaos instead of like Tzeentch if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And then just run the demons as a demons list.
I might do that.
If that's what you're interested in. And then you could just move the Demon Prince to the demon portion, because I assume there's a Demon Prince in there.
Yeah, there is. It's back in the back. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, if that's what you want to do with the list, I'm totally down with that. That's cool. My list is going to be a freaking disaster area of keywords. So like, I have no business saying, it's not technically no, that's not going to happen. So if you wanted to do that, that would be totally cool with me. Just run this as demons.
I'm looking at this as none of these demons are getting any upgrades. The only guy who gets upgrades are
oh, come on.
Well, if I gave any upgrades, it would be to the Demon Prince or the Flux Master. Everyone else is a schmuck. Right. The Flux Master has to get some. He's got to get some swag, you know. He's been through a lot with this Exalted Sorcerer.
Excellent. All right, cool. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and close out the show.
Hey Archons, does 9th edition have you feeling like the Slith Party Bus just doesn't have enough party for you? Well, if you want to put a little shock back into your shock brow, you need the Slith Party On! That's right, Archons. For 736 points, you can take 3 Archons, 12 Slith, and a Tantalus. It's the Slith Party On! Now I know what you're thinking. Couldn't I take Drazar, 15 Incubi, and a Tantalus, aka the Incubi Murder Boat, for 51 less points? Sure you could, but it wouldn't be the Slith Party On! But is it legal? Oh yeah! Is it awesome? Oh yeah! Is it any good on the table? No! It's the all-new Slith Party On. Sort of awesome. Party On! Really hilarious. Party On! It's the Slith Party On!
Oh, we've reached level 6.
Welcome back. Jason, how do you feel about the new Demons Codex?
I'm pretty stoked about it. Or at least I'm really happy about the Tzeentch stuff. I mean, everything else looked pretty cool. I mean, like, I would never run Nurgle. I would never run Slaanesh or Khorne, you know, but the Tzeentch stuff looks really cool. I have the Tzeentch army, so I would definitely run it. So
yeah, clearly.
I'd like to hear what people who run, like, you know, Khorne or Slaanesh or Nurgle have to say, you know.
That's fair.
But then again, like, I looked at the Nurgle stuff and I was like, yep, that's Nurgle. That's flavorful. It tastes gross, but it's flavorful.
No, yeah, it's really cool. Everything I saw felt very thematic, so that's really all that matters to me. Well, that also, and summoning is gone, which was idiotic.
Yeah.
So it feels really good. I'm really pleased with how it's done. So next week we are going to talk about my incursion into Lucky Space Crusade list and all the units and unit types that are going into it. So I think that might actually take up, because we'll go into the lore and stuff of those units too. So that'll probably take up the episode. And then hopefully in late September, we'll publish our first game. We are going to be doing all, or at least almost all, Zone Mortalis for this one. So it should be a lot of fun. But until then,
play the game the way you want to.
We'd love it if you could give us a positive rating and review on iTunes.
If you'd like to keep in contact with us, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter by searching for Masters of the Forge.
And you can follow our hobby progress on Instagram with the hashtag Masters of the Forge.
If you'd like to engage with us directly, you can always join our Discord server.
To do so, or if you have any questions, topic suggestions, or if you'd like to advertise your creative hobby endeavor,
contact us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com.
Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/mastersoftheforge. Thanks.
This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com. The music used in this podcast was made by Parad of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.